कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रेष्णे नमः। आनन्दलीलामय विग्रहाय हेमाभदिव्यै छविसुन्दराय तस्मै महाप्रेमरसप्रदाय चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते। चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते। चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते। जय जय श्री चैतन्य जय नित्यानंद। जय द्वैत चंद्र जय गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Okay, so I think we read till here that devotional service is the only path by which one can achieve the Supreme Person, Lord Shri Krishna. Devotional service is the only perfection accepted by all the Vedic literatures. Just as when a poor man receives some treasure, he becomes very happy. When one attains to devotional service, his material pains are automatically vanquished. As one advances in devotional service, he attains love of Godhead. And as he advances in his love, he becomes free from all the material bondage. One should not think, however, that the disappearance of poverty and the liberation from the bondage are the goals of devotional service. No, these are not the goals. Love of Krishna, love of God, is itself the goal, and it consists in relishing the reciprocation of the loving service with the Lord. In all the Vedic literatures, we find that the attainment of this loving relationship between the living entity, Jivatma, and the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, is the goal of devotional service. Our actual function is devotional service, and our ultimate goal is love of Godhead. Actual function is devotional service, ultimate goal is love of Godhead. Therefore, in all the Vedic literatures, Krishna is the ultimate center, and through knowledge of Krishna, all the other problems of life are solved. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then quoted a verse from the Padma Puran. There are many different Purans with instructions for worshipping different types of demigods. But such instructions only bewilder people into thinking that the demigods are supreme. Yet, if one carefully studies the Purans, he will find that Krishna, the supreme personality of Godhead, is the only object of worship. For example, in the Markandeya Puran, there is mention of Devi worship or the worship of the goddess Durga or Mother Kali. But in this same Puran, it is also stated that all the demigods, even Durga, are but different energies of Lord Vishnu. All the demigods, Mother Durga, Mother Kali, they are just the different energies of Lord Vishnu. Thus, the study of the Purans reveals Lord Vishnu, the supreme personality of Godhead, to be the only object of worship. And as Srila Prabhupada also says that when you water the roots of the plant, all the leaves, the branches, the twigs, the flowers, the fruits, everything gets nourished. So Lord Vishnu or Lord Krishna is that root. The conclusion is that directly or indirectly, all types of worship are more or less directed to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. The Bhagavad Gita 9.23 confirms that one who worships the demigods is in fact worshipping only Krishna, because the demigods are but the different parts of the body of Lord Vishnu or Krishna. But such worship is irregular, means it is avidhi purvakam. The persons are worshipping demigods for their personal motives. This kind of worships are all motivated by or ulterior motives to gain some sensory pleasure or material pleasures or material fulfilling material desires. But Krishna has said that even if they worship some demigod, more or less it is ultimately the worship of the supreme personality of Godhead Krishna only. Why? Because these demigods are nothing but they are just the different parts of Lord Vishnu or Krishna. But even then, such worship is irregular, avidhipurvakam. It is not recommended. In Srimad Bhagavatam 11.21.42 and 43 confirms that this irregularity, oh, sorry, Srimad Bhagavatam confirms this irregularity by answering the question, what is the purpose of the different types of worship that is described in the Vedic literature? In the Vedic literature, there are various divisions. One is called the Karma Kand, which describes purely ritualistic activities. And another is the Gnan Kand, which describes speculation on the supreme absolute truth based on knowledge. You speculate based on knowledge. What then is the purpose of the ritualistic sections of the Vedic literature, and what is the purpose of the Upasana Khand or the Gyan Khand, which contains different mantras or hymns for worshipping the various demigods? So, if these are not the ultimate purpose, then what? Why is it mentioned? What is the purpose of this, all these that is mentioned? And what is the purpose of philosophical speculation on the subject of the absolute truth? And then Srimad Bhagavatam also replies to this question. In Srimad Bhagavatam, these questions are asked, and in Srimad Bhagavatam, the reply is given that in actuality, all of these methods described in the Vedic literature indicate the worship of the Supreme Lord Vishnu. In other words, they are all indirect ways of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sometimes we are unable to accept the authority as it is. And therefore, the Supreme Lord is so merciful that He has given these branches. Okay, if you cannot accept me, you accept my branches. That is out of causeless mercy of the Supreme Lord. In other ways, they are all indirect ways of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sacrifices contained in the ritualistic portions of this literature are meant for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord, Lord Vishnu. Indeed, because yajna or sacrifice is specifically meant for satisfying Vishnu. Vishnu is the yajna purush. He is yajna. Yajna means Vishnu, Lord Vishnu. So all yajnas are meant to satisfy Lord Vishnu, to please Lord Vishnu. And another name for Lord Vishnu is Yajneshwar, or the Lord of all sacrifices. He is the Yajna Purush, the Yajneshwar, the Lord of all sacrifices. Since the neophytes are not on the transcendental level, neophytes means the beginners or in today's language it is called newbies, people who are new to all these things. So neophytes or people who do not have, in simple language, people who have poor fund of knowledge, who do not have sufficient knowledge, or also sometimes less intelligent people. So they all comprise this neophytes. So the idea is that gradually such neophytes may rise to the transcendental plane and then engage in the service of Lord Vishnu, who is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For example, the Purans advise the neophytes attached to eating flesh to eat it only after offering it to the goddess Kali. So in these Purans also, so there are the Purans are also meant for the three categories of persons: Sattvic people, Rajasic people, and Tamasic people. So the for the tamas people, people who are in the mode of ignorance, for such people in the Puran, it is advised that okay, you are so attached, you are so eager to eat the flesh of these dead animals, dead bodies. You are so attached to it, then do so by offering it to the goddess Kali. And therefore, But there are rules and regulations given for it, that one can only sacrifice an animal when it is Amavasya, when it is completely dark night, because sacrificing or slaughtering an animal is an act of inhuman, where there is no compassion, inhuman act. Therefore, in the dark night, nobody can see such a gory activity, somebody slaughtering an animal. But these days, people are so ignorant. People are duped in such deep ignorance and darkness that they, in West Bengal, this is a common practice. All the slaughterhouses, these shops and meat shops, they just hang a picture of Kali, Mother Kali, and they sell all these meat, thinking that they are selling some prasad. And people, actually nobody cares also, because people also have gone to such extent that they don't even care about all these things. But still, this practice is prevalent, that they will, every meat shop will have a picture of Mother Kali, indicating that okay, this is offered to Mother Kali. Mother Kali is the mother of all living entities. She will a mother eat the flesh of the child? Never. But in, under the instruction of the Supreme Lord, Mother Kali is, accepting these fallen souls who are stooped into such darkness, who are stooped into such ignorance, who will, um, otherwise how will they will never get delivered in like millions and millions of lifetimes. Therefore these Purans are given, therefore these instructions are given for those people who follow these instructions. So here people are advised, the neophytes who are attached to eating flesh, they should offer it to goddess Kali, and then they should accept. This is what the Tamas Purans, they have mentioned this. The philosophical sections of the Vedic hymns are in now the philosophical sections of the Vedic hymns are intended to enable one to distinguish the Supreme Lord from Maya. After one understands the position of Maya, that is the external energy of Lord Krishna or the illusory energy, when somebody understands that, then one can approach the Supreme Lord in pure devotional service. That is the actual purpose of philosophical speculation. And Krishna confirms this in the Bhagavad Gita 7.19. After speculating for many, many births, the philosophical speculators and the empiric philosophers, they ultimately surrender unto me, Vasudev, and accept that I am everything. It can thus be seen that all the Vedic rituals and different types of worship and philosophical speculation ultimately aim at Krishna. But they take long, long time, and there is no guarantee also. So, Krishna willing, we'll continue reading tomorrow. Thank you very much, dear devotees, for your association. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। श्री श्रीमद श्री जय पताका स्वामी गुरु महाराज की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल।
श्यामा करुणामयी माता जी की जय।
और
जय
श्री गुरु